So there's a lot that I want us to talk about. I just came in and I want to make this very quick because I want to sleep. I had a lot of meetings today, and that let me record a short video explaining some of the things that I learned today, of course, about business, but most importantly about life. So, something that I learned is the strange reality of life. I know life is a very huge topic to talk about, but it's what I want to talk about. It's very specific and very short. So chokutanga ndechekuti life is very strange in the sense yekuti we often talk about fairness. Yes, now we say fair, we want fairness, we want all of this stuff, and I get it, because I don't know why we want fairness, but life has never been fair if we are going to be blunt and honest with each other. And that doesn't mean we should allow that, but there are certain realities that we just can't fight. And there's so much peace in understanding that reality of life is not fair, and it has never been fair. Some people are born into rich families, some people are born into poor families, and there's nothing you can absolutely do about it. And not only that, even on an individual level, some people have certain abilities, certain gifts, certain talents, and some people they don't. So this idea equal fair, it's quite weird because there's nothing fair about people, nothing equal about people. Of course, we want to be treated the same. We want I get that argument, but even still, if you go deep, you're going to realize nothing is ever fair. But I digress. What I want to talk about is that reality. If you understand that life is not fair, you have to make peace with it. And after you make peace with that reality, life is definitely not fair. Some people vanorima ende vachikohwa, and vamwe vanhu vanorima voita the same things zvaitwa nafama uyu, but they don't get anything chiri concrete. That is life. Kuna vanhu who work extremely hard and they go nowhere, and then some they work a bit, then zvinhu zvinongofamba. And the opposite can be true as well, kuti kuna vanoshanda extremely hard and zvinhu zvichitovafambira bho, koitawo vasingashande bho zvinhu zvongodhakwawo. You get the point. But the point ndeyekungoti life iri weird to understand. Ndosaka chinzi life haina formula, as a lot of people say. But there are certain patterns zaunozotanga kuona mulife that emerge over a long period of time. With these things, they sort of like happen to a lot of these people who end up being successful in life. That is something that I want to talk about, of course, in relation to business. Business is about exposure. If you have a business or a product or something that you're selling, you need to expose yourself. By exposing yourself, I mean you need to let a lot of people know what you do. And it's very hard because and you find nobody akutenga mvura. But it's very important. You have to keep doing that over and over and over again, because believe it or not, there'll come a day which somebody says, "Duda mvura." But who is that guy? Then they try to call you takuda mvura. That is life. So you need to expose yourself to a lot of people over and over and over again. Even say your product. And then the second thing that is equally important is distribution. If you have a business, the distribution part is as important as the product itself. By distribution, lose about the idea you need to find a way to connect your product to your customer, to your client, right? That is distribution. Of course, that's where logistics goes into it. But you need to have a system that is extremely efficient in connecting your product with the right people. That is distribution. It is extremely important. And if you don't have a good distribution system, or like of course in distribution to open up logistics and other stuff, if you don't have that good stuff in order, your business is going to be a mess. And then another thing is the product itself. You need to have a great product. You need to have a product that is extremely valuable. You can own your product that you need to explain over and over and over again to a person. That's probably not a good product. Products are supposed to be simple. They're supposed to solve my problems, or they're supposed to play a certain role in life to a person who have a need for that product or that service. That's very important. So 3 things: you need good exposure, distribution, great product. You need these things. Yeah, so that's, oh, another thing that I almost forgot is about people. In Zimbabweans nekakaucha kekuti we oftentimes complain amana takagraduate handisikuona basa zvinhu zvakaoma, and you find that same person anonaunzi pane kabasa kabuda panapa kakubhadhara $200 a month or $300 a month, kuti I can't take it, imari shoma. Anotoramba basa iroro munhu achiti I'm waiting for a better job, but you end up discovering kuti kuda rinotopera aramba basa $200, atoramba potentially close to how much, $2,400 yaanenge atoramba munhu, which is mari kunotoendesa somewhere. He could have done other things with that money. So the idea ndeyekuti even if life throws curveballs at you, zvinozvikakuomera, zvinozvikadhakwa, zvinozvikaita whatever, you need to keep showing up. Shanda nezvaunazvo. If you don't have, work towards zviripo. Don't just complain. Do something. Don't just say handina basa ndakugara ukanzi ita ichichi, I can't do this job, rine zvandakadzidza ndine. That is not life. You need to work with what you have. Kana usina, shanda nezvawatowana. Kana une zvawawana, at least you have something. Yeah, I can maybe understand ukadaramba my opportunities, of course, depending on uchashandisa metric ipi, whatever. But yeah, that is what I have for today. If you find this very valuable, I don't know if it's good enough or not, but yeah, please do subscribe, like, and share the video. I'll see you in the next one. Good night. So that right over there is Albert Einstein. Look, Albert Einstein.